When Reno first appeared, he received very little attention. This was due to the fact that Neo Vision units were just introduced, and people were far more interested in Remake Cloud and the free Neo Vision Awakened Tifa. And now that we've come full circle, he finally gets a thumbnail of his own. That shared. Reno's Trustmaster reward is a materia that increases your unit's defense and spirit by 20%, and increases their attack by 40% if they're holding a mace. It's decent for what it is, but unfortunately there aren't too many offensive units that love to equip a mace, nor are there any other rows that need such low passives. His Super Trustmaster reward is an accessory with a good amount of defense and spirit. It also grants a Guts buff, which, while not critical, can be very helpful if something goes wrong. Onto his active abilities. On second thought, let's just go over the ones worth mentioning. Custom Specs Rod boosts Reno's attack and magic by 280%, boosts his lightning damage by 20%, and boosts his limit burst gauge foe rate by 200%. Pyramid's Peak lowers the enemy stats by 80%, and their lightning resistance by 120%. Electrostatic Rod deals lightning damage that chains of absolute mirror of equity and lowers the enemy's lightning resistance by 90%. Unfortunately, you'll have little alternative unless you juggle his cooldown ability in his limit burst. Defense Pyramid grants one ally a 40% general mitigation buff and raises their lightning resistance by 100%. Charged Impulse boosts your team's lightning damage by 10%. Mind-blowing, I know. Crashing Lightning deals lightning damage that changes Stardust Ray. Flash Strike can be used 3 times per battle. It deals lightning damage that chains of Oreo Ray. Passives. With his Trustmaster reward or Super Trustmaster reward equipped, he would rather hold something else. The effects are okay, but generally most players would consider the passive underwhelming, especially compared to many other materias or accessories out there. He has a double killer against humans and machines, a nice boost to his limit burst gauge fill rate, and some evasion. At the start of the battle, he'll automatically inflict a 70% full break on your enemies. He'd prefer to equip a single weapon, generally a mace, though you can also just equip a fist if you got a much better weapon. Onto his limit burst. It lowers the enemy's stats by 84%, and their lightning resistance by 130%. Time to change forms. Reno's Brave Shift has a 4-turn duration and a 4-turn cooldown. What do you think is keeping Rude occupied? The helicopter? Onto their active abilities. Their attacks now scale off their magic stat because I don't really know why. Triple Shockwave deals earth damage that chains by itself, raises their magic by 250%, and boosts their limit burst damage by 150%. Whirlwind is the same thing, but with wind. Passives. With their Trustmaster reward or Super Trustmaster reward equipped, they gain stats. Which is okay, though 30% isn't staggering on its own. They do gain a boost to their limit burst gauge fill rate though, which can be compounded with their Neo boost to their limit burst damage. Speaking of which, their limit burst. It's a self-chaining attack that deals magic damage, and lowers the enemy's wind and earth resistance by 125%. It's non-elemental, which gives it some leeway, though that admittedly comes at the cost of some potential damage output. Let's rank Brave abilities. Raising them just raises their damage, not their effects, so feel free to prioritize whichever one picks your fancy. Time to make a damage rotation. While you're in his base form, we'll start off with Custom Specs Rod, Pyramid's Peak, and Flash Strike. Then, with his low limit burst cost, it shouldn't be too difficult to cast his limit burst on the next turn. From that point forward, double cast Crashing Lightning and top the chain with Flash Strike. When you activate his Brave Shift, you're going to want to start off with Custom Specs Rod if you can, and then follow it up by triple casting either ability. His limit burst gauge cost doesn't change, so if you're lucky, you'll be able to pull it off on the next turn. Keep going with the self-chaining attack on the turn after that, and hopefully you'll be able to pull off their limit burst once more before their Brave Shift ends. So how good is Neo Vision Awakened Reno? In terms of damage, well, he's free. You get a quadruple casting self-chaining unit, so that's nice. His breaks are certainly useful, but juggling his best breaks during battle might not always be possible. It doesn't help that for all his elemental and chaining varieties, ultimately they don't quite carry over into the other form. This is moot if you just choose to stick with his base form, but by that point it's not too difficult to find a better alternative. Still, for a free unit he's a nice addition to an underdeveloped party, and most importantly does an excellent job at speeding up these farming quests. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe. Comment below if you now have 2 Renos, or if this is the first time you've gotten him. Regardless, it'd certainly be the first time you got Rude.